listening to all of the discussions that we've been having. So we really have quite high expectations.
Yeah. The question of accountability is a big one. And I wonder, with processes like this being what they are, how much room there truly is for accountability, Keta.
Yeah, it's really, really important that we can't continue to witness ducking and diving when it comes to accountability. We are in a position where we are seeing, for example, the devastations of climate change. And we know that South Africa is rich in resources and we have strategies. When we go to local communities, we have strategies for adaptation. We have strategies on this is the best way forward because our communities, people have indigenous knowledge and strong knowledge of this is a way that we can shift and adapt. So it's important that these people are in the rooms and there is a lot of inclusion in those conversations. And therefore, with the policies that we are hoping are going to be changed and shifted, we can start to get accountability mechanisms. We do know that a lot of our challenges in South Africa are systemic, but we want to start seeing our policies that speak to how do we hold, issues of good governance accountable. So we're at a point where it's really unacceptable, and we want to get into that position where you are starting to speak to now, this is what we're hoping to change, and this is what we're going to be doing going forward post the G20.
Okay, we're going to continue with the conversation shortly. We're live from the G20 Social Summit, and we're bringing the voices of some of the organizations participating in this process. For now, it's 10:30. Let's take your latest news headlines.
Thank you, Kathy. On the news headlines on SAfm, I'm Wanda Lamban, and a very good morning. The R61 in Ngobo in the Eastern Cape has been blocked by trucks allegedly hijacked by taxi operators this morning. This follows a violent protest that started yesterday, which brought movement of goods, services, and commuters to a standstill. Crime expert Chad Thomas has described the testimony of Northwest businessman Bron Mokgotsi as unreliable. Mokgotsi appeared before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday and will continue with his testimony this afternoon. And a federal judge in the United States has ruled that the tech giant Meta does not hold a monopoly in social media, and its acquisition of the photo-sharing app Instagram and the messaging app WhatsApp did not violate antitrust laws. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand is currently trading at 17 rand 14 to the dollar, 22 rand 51 to the pound, and 19 rand 87 to the euro. Markets in Asia were mixed at the closing bell. The JSE is mainly higher in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are trading lower. Gold is trading at $4,095 per ounce. Platinum $1,543 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $63.57 a barrel.
Extraordinary is built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business powers strong businesses and thriving communities with scalable cloud, trusted security, smart AI, and IoT that connects what truly matters. This is how we're building a nation that's connected, empowered, and ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5. The fight isn't over. It's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. Only on S3.
Upgrade your summer to extraordinary with free gifts from Vodacom on all summer deals. Like the Redmi 15 on a Red Flexi 160 plan for just $199 per month over 36 months. and get Redmi Buds 6 Play with 399 on us. Plus, enjoy even more extras with 5 gigs YouTube data and 2 months free YouTube Premium. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
When love turns to hate and hate turns to violence, the truth is never simple. In Love and Hate Crime Season 2, real stories expose the dark side of human emotion, where identity, passion, and prejudice collide. Powerful, unflinching, unforgettable. These are the crimes that challenge what we think we know about love and humanity. Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on S3. S3, open up. Yes.
The Talking Point with Kathy Motlatlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, we continue the conversation from the G20 Social Summit. Ketama Tlabutelezi is an economics officer at Green Connection, and Munjozi Mutandiri is senior program advisor at the Southern African Liaison Office, and they deal specifically with peace building and security through dialogue on the continent. So, Munjozi, this question of accountability is a big one, right? And we have seen the impact of having specifically presidents, US presidents, and the impact that that has had on different conversations globally. We know that US President Donald Trump is not going to be coming to the summit. And there are big questions, right, around the role and the impact of multilateralism today. How do we solve some of the globe's biggest problems, including migration, when these important players are not in the room, but also when there seem to be such opposed views on how we answer these questions that countries are having to deal with as sovereigns, but also thinking about this global community and what it is that this global community needs to look like.
So one of the things that we must underscore is that we are where we are today because of a very long process of how we could say the global order post Second World War has shaped itself to be where we are today. So when we speak to issues of accountability or lack of it, it's not just an overnight thing. It didn't start today. It's processes that have been happening for a very long time, leading to this moment where we could argue that actually we are at a point where we are seeing that multilateralism, the way we have known it, is showing us that it has outlived its welcome. A new world order is emerging, and that world order is multipolar, and the dominance of the United States as we know it at the moment looks like it cannot continue, and it cannot help us in resolving the issues that we have to resolve as a world. But what we need to be able to underscore is that when Trump deals with South Africa, as South Africa, it's very easy for him to bully it. But I think when we, as the global South and Africans, first of all, begin to articulate what we think our issues are, and as a collective, as a bloc, begin to say, you touch one of us, you touch us. You can't do this to us. We have the bulky of the minerals that are critical for the energy era that is coming. And certainly, if Botswana, DRC, and South Africa can be able to say, when it comes to diamonds, you can't make decisions that we are not a part of, because we are the major contributors to the diamond industry globally. And so I think that the things to underscore in terms of accountability at that level is that Africa has to unite, and it has to be clear about its agenda. A properly Pan-African we have been listening to side events yesterday. We had ministers, deputy ministers, and other diplomats from other parts of the continent. And what we kept hearing is that there is discord in the African corridors of power. That when you push an agenda as South Africa, most of the time it's not supported enough by other countries across the continent. And I think we need to resolve that. Agenda 2063 must be able to give us a consolidated voice as Africa, and that this is the direction we want to take. So if Trump comes with an agenda as a bloc, we are clear in terms of what needs to happen. But we must understand that accountability in itself should never happen just at that top levels, because we know the elites can easily sell us off, all of us. So that's why as civil society we have insisted, not just when South Africa took over the presidency, but the moment the presidents of the G20 came to the global south with Indonesia, with Brazil, we kept insisting that at the center of the new agenda for the global south must be the ordinary citizens. That's why your first question, we are not in Nazareth, but we have been on the streets in Soweto. We have been in corridors that these guys will never be in. And we have been gathering views. We have put them into documents. We have debated them. We have created platforms for discussions. And as a way of telling our leaders that this is the trajectory that we think that this continent and the global south broadly must take. And we are hoping that we have made enough noise. We have clarified our vision for where we want to go. And what comes next is the implementation which you were talking about.
Sure.
And that this point of South Africa's G20 president's declaration is not the end. Actually, if anything, it is the beginning of the hard work of ensuring that we are implementing what we want. How do we do that? By ensuring that our presidents are accountable, our own national leaders are accountable to their people's agendas, that we push our own other African countries, our own presidents, to be able to be part of a truly Pan-African agenda and not do lip service and then do bilateral agreements with America that undermines the continental agenda
Sure.
that would take us forward.
This idea, right, of having a united, not only Pan-African position, but also voice, it's something that is spoken about, but we don't see it in practice much when it comes down to the wire. Because countries are more than willing to dump that Pan-African interest in the name of self-interest for different countries. I mean, we saw the way that, again, I'll go back to the example, the US president will be calling different African countries, whining and dining them in the US. There was no Pan-African agenda there. Everybody's looking at, well, what's in it for me? And I wonder the cost of that, Keta, in a conversation like climate change. Africa is the hub of industrialization going into the future, not only because of the youth demographic we have, but because we still have so many resources that are untapped. We still have so much to offer the world in that regard. And yet, when we look at conversations like decarbonization and how different countries are positioning themselves in those conversations, one doesn't get a sense that there is a unified stand. We can start the conversation just in South Africa. Coal, the conversation from coal to IPPs, to how are we going to bring renewables on board? What are the considerations that need to be made there? Who is the biggest beneficiary of a transition? Why must the transition be just? What do we mean by the justice of this? So there's so many aspects to this conversation, but one doesn't hear that Africa has even sat and thought and contended with these issues to say, actually, Our position as a continent should be this. I won't even get to South South because there it's an even bigger disaster because China, India, South Africa, whoever you want to throw in, whenever the conversations arise, they're thinking about their own personal interests as nation states.
I think, Kathy, what you're saying is really important, and it is, what we have seen across the board. And right now, with the G20, what opportunities it has presented for us, even as CSOs, is to start those kinds of conversations. We are part of now Africa working groups where we are starting these conversations and we are committing to now moving forward in shaping that narrative and having the policies that are now speaking to how do we start to form, an alliance that strengthens us, because we've also seen that, being separate is not helping us. And now, as we are shifting the more in the conversation of what does it look like for Africa to be sustainable, and how is Africa, moving into strategies of climate adaptability, and how do we move away from harmful, coal and harmful fossil fuel? How do we move into the conversation of renewables, which really is the richness of Africa? And how do we make these locally owned? How do we ensure that communities are in those conversations and that the proper beneficiation is properly discussed and the policies are therefore implemented that will then ensure that communities are no longer disadvantaged? Because the more we keep looking on the trajectory of all the conversations that have been taking place, even long before the G20, we see that where are the community voices? Where are the people that say, we know where the resources are, we know where the minerals are, but we're not protected? Whenever the conversations are being had, we are not called into those rooms. So as civil society, we had the opportunity of going into, like what Munjar was saying, that we went into the communities. We went to your Sowetos, we went to coastal communities in the Western Cape. We went to West Coast, where we work in coastal communities, and we asked small scale fishers, what would you want your G20 to speak to? And a lot of it is around the policy that now speaks to beneficiation, policies that speak to, what the community's voice is, and how we use indigenous knowledge to now shape, how the future will look like going forward. Because if they are the most affected, there's no way that we can have any conversation without hearing what are the strategies that they know of. We found that in communities, the best strategies are really through storytelling. They tell you, they know, they live there, their experience, is firsthand. So I feel that sometimes we get lost in the rooms where we're speaking on high level discussions and we're not going into, those that have the first hand experience. And I think that going back to, this convening and coming together of CSOs, we find that the conversation is now shifting towards that, and we now can affect policies into what is going to help communities.
All right. So joining this conversation, then just sitting across from me is Shamila Rajendran, who is with Arrow Malaysia. And she'll be speaking about her work with young people at the G20 summit. So I think broadly, Shamila, talk to us about the voices of young people and how they have been represented on platforms like this. Your organization, I believe you're from Malaysia. Tell us a bit more about the work that you do.
All right, thank you. So I'm Sharmila and I'm representing the Asian Pacific Resource and Research Center for Women. That's in Malaysia as well. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm also been supported by the Global Leaders Network. So just a bit about my work. I support the Gender Equality Initiative that is supported by the EU, and I'm also supporting the FGMC work that's in Arrow. But in this component, of course, we also intertwine with CSE and also with other parts of the work like safe abortion and stuff. So I guess so. One of the things is how exactly do we ensure that these voices are represented? Is one, we do capacity building and also capacity strengthening at the national level, but we also inform young people about the spaces here, including regional and global spaces. However, I feel back in Malaysia, maybe the awareness needs to be improved a little bit more because, yes, there's a lot of work that's happening in the national level, but when it comes to taking that up to the regional level or the global level, I feel like maybe the CSOs, um, first of all, I think they just need a bit more awareness as to what are the spaces that we can engage in, and this is what we do through Arrow as well. We also do mentorship programs like fellowships with young people where we also take them to these advocacy spaces like CSW. I'm also here for the G20. And over here is where we would actually ask them to bring up their voices. What are the actual barriers that's happening on the ground? And what are some of the innovations that they've done? But also, what are the recommendations that we would want member states, but also leaders to take up on? Yeah, so these are just a very quick summary.
Sure. And do you find that the processes of engagement, right, in terms of ensuring that the youth voice is captured, do you find that that process is a credible process, that young people are actually supported when you are doing this work, especially because you've highlighted sometimes the disconnect that exists around exposure, right? The level of exposure that an ordinary young person in the streets of Soweto, the streets of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur might have to the conversations that are happening globally. And these are conversations that are determining what their future is going to look like, right?
Yeah. So yes, there's a bit of disconnect, but I think if we were to compare like maybe 5 years ago or
Yeah.
maybe 10 years ago, I feel like we're doing so much better now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of spaces, we also see people now talking about having young people in the room and also how important it is to engage with young people. And when they talk about sustainability, they're also connecting that with young people. And I'm also really happy to be here in a region where there's a lot of the population of young people is at large, right? And that kind of urges the need that we need to focus on, this group of people, including myself. But yeah, so I would say we're doing really good. But also when it comes to the disconnect, I say this is where we need to look into collaborations. I'm not just talking about CSOs and grassroots, right? But also how do we bridge the gap between CSOs, but also with the government? Yes, we have, like policy dialogues or any spaces where we engage with the government people, right? But what happens after the policy dialogue? Are we actually following up with what was discussed during in that room, right? But also, are we also following up with the international treaties and also some of the agreements that has already set out? So I think this is also something that we need to also proactively engage in. Yeah, so that also kind of rely on us.
Munjosi, that speaks to, I suppose, the legitimacy of civil society organizations, and I think that's an important conversation to have, because in some instances, civil society organizations are seen to be representing particular interests, and in representing those interests, um, there are aspects of society that are left behind. So even if you take, let's say, a trust barometer like the Edelman Trust Barometer that is done globally, right? It's a really good indicator of where the global society is, and then it digs deeper into what is happening at a country level. It shows globally people are losing trust in civil society organizations, and the follow up that Shamila is talking about. It goes back to that accountability. Is civil society able to get the results it needs in order to retain its credibility? Because you will have young people on the streets protesting against an election outcome. Where is civil society in all of that? Civil society doesn't have a voice. You can't even stop the protest. Excuse me. No convening power, no legitimacy.
Yeah, very hard questions. But look, Kathy, we are living in a very difficult moment across the globe. We know that young people, even ourselves, as civil society leadership in this continent, we are frustrated by the rate at which we are moving to transformation. And young people are not frustrated just by the political leadership. They are frustrated by everything that they think has made them to be in the position they are in, where they have no jobs, they have no hopes, they graduate, there is no chance of getting a job. Civil society's legitimacy must be rooted in the people themselves. You can be a think tank, but the empirical evidence that you use for your research and everything must come from the people. And I think as civil society, there's a lot of frustration. I want to underscore that. But I think we have been at the center of giving the glimpse of hope that we can have. And that hope, in my opinion, is only the hope that we can get from our people. If our people still think that we have enough resources in this continent, in this country, to be able to help ourselves, what we need to do is find the pulse for what it is that we must do to be able to liberate ourselves economically and every other way possible. There is need for us to really also highlight the small victories that we get as civil society, as a continent, the small things that we make progress on. We should be able to highlight them so that they give us hope to what is possible if we put our heads together. I think that brings the legitimate question. There are things that are not explainable. That we are in 2025. Africa has a lot of resources. We did not have a critical mineral strategy until May this year. South Africa just adopted it now, but it's the only country in the region that is that. But we have, it's like data as well. The data we use on our socials, on our Facebook, on AI and everything, the African data is sitting somewhere in Washington, in London. Everyone else knows more about us as Africans than what we do. So there is room for improvement. Civil society has to fill that gap and begin to bring practical solutions that address the challenges we face. But let's not be naive as well. It is not going to happen overnight. So we must be intentional about a program of action that is going to take us to the future.
Keta, on the question of legitimacy.
I really do echo a lot with what has been spoken, that really we want to get to that place where we are able to have the plans that we can legitimize even our position, especially at local level. I do like that, our perspective really does come from grassroots. We listen. We are the people that usually are the first response to whatever challenges, whether they be devastating climate effects like floods and what have you. We are usually the first people that at first response. And you could almost say that sometimes that is not being highlighted enough. We are critical, and I feel that in terms of legitimacy, there's still a lot of space for CSOs to continue in the work that we are doing on the ground. It's important that in our, hopes to localizing and having socially, owned renewables, it's important that we continue with those conversations and with those dialogues and insisting on a policy development. So in terms of legitimacy, I still say that CSOs are very critical at this point, especially in the G20.
All right. And then let me come to you, Shamila. What are you hoping to take out of this conference? So it's Monday morning or Sunday evening, you're on your flight back home. What would be your measure of success?
I would first say maybe the adoption of the language. There has been a lot of breakout rooms, and there's also been a side event where I was speaking yesterday,
Mhm.
and there has been a lot of discussions, a lot of recommendations that's been put out. And one thing I would want to emphasize is definitely the health of women, children, and adolescents, or anybody at large, is non-negotiable. Health is definitely a human right. And I would say having this captured in the G20, but also having that as part of the monitoring process, is definitely a success. But yes, that's one thing about putting it in a document, right? But having that implemented, that's another thing. That is like the ultimate success that we can have out of the G20.
Do you think that your generation has the fire to push accountability in a way that maybe Munjozi and Keta have not? Do you think that, Munjozi says it's fine, we're not at Nasrec, but we're here and we're meeting and it's still important. Do you think your generation will have the courage to actually say, you know what, we're going to Nasrec, they're going to let us in whether they like it or not?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like young people definitely have the fire. I mean, you've even seen in news, we move mountains, right? But I would not definitely exclude both of them because I feel like the generations before us, they laid the foundation, right? Because without them, there is no us.
Yeah.
They allow us to carry the legacy.
Yeah.
So they're just as important as us.
Yeah.
But I feel like as young people, we want to bring that legacy, but we also want to give what we bring to the table,
Yeah.
and we want to carry that fire,
Yeah.
and we want to push that, and we are already doing it.
Mm.
So I would like to see how far we can go, and I'm also looking forward to see the younger generations, even after me, what they would do. But I'm only seeing a lot of good progress. Of course, there will always be something, like a backlash or something, right?
Yeah.
But we always look at the positive because that positivity is what brought changes, and that's what will bring changes. So
Okay.
yeah.
Let me thank you so much for your time. Shamela, Munjozi, Keta, all the best with the rest of the summits, of the summit rather, that's taking place and tomorrow's session with the president. Munjozi, don't feel bad that I was asking you the hard questions, hey? Civil society has an important role to play. And so my questions are not about undermining the role, but it's just about also the intersection point of what you are doing versus maintaining the status quo, which we know people want a break from. Enough of the status quo.
We want hard questions so that we can rise to
Yeah,
the occasion.
no, I'll see if you're going to ask the president hard questions tomorrow.
Thank you.
Let's see if you're able to stand up to that.
Thank you.
All right, let's take the latest 11 o'clock news.
Thank you, Kathy. On the top stories, the R61 road blockaded by trucks in the Eastern Cape, and an expert describes Mokgotsi as unreliable. For SAfm News, I'm Ondelambana, and a very good morning. The R61 in Ngobo in the Eastern Cape has been blocked by trucks allegedly hijacked by taxi operators this morning. This follows a violent protest that started yesterday, which brought movement of goods, services and commuters to a standstill. The protest was sparked by the decision made by police to escort long-distance buses. This after taxi operators instructed all public transport drivers not to carry passengers. The escorting of buses followed last week's shooting incident in which a passenger lost her life and two others were injured. Transport Department spokesperson Unati Bingose.
This level of lawlessness places communities in danger and cripples the movement of goods and services. And MEC Lengacha has been very clear in saying no grievance can justify holding our towns and our people hostage. He has called on taxi leaders to immediately calm down, pull their members back, and return lawful and constructive means of engagement.
Crime expert Ted Thomas has described the testimony of Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi as unreliable. Mokgotsi appeared before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday and will continue with his testimony this afternoon. Yesterday, he told the commission that he works as an undercover crime intelligence agent for the police's Crime Intelligence Division. He also claimed to have received information that KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the AmaZulu King Misuzulu Kazwelithini were actively working for the CIA. Mokgotsi, however, did not have any evidence to support his claims. Thomas says Mokgotsi's claims give credence to conspiracy theories surrounding state security.
It's not very credible at all. It's creating this narrative of foreign involvement in South Africa, trying to stir what we call a color revolution. It's not the first time we've experienced people being called out for being spies. There's never ever been any evidence of this exists. We see the same narrative played out over over and over again by different information peddlers, different agents provider, and it's simply to create this distrust in our leadership. So that type of testimony, which is hearsay upon hearsay, we call it double hearsay, is treated with the contempt that it deserves.
Police have launched an investigation following the brutal murder of a school principal and a staff member at the Ingweni Primary School in Tembisa, Ekurhuleni. Police say they were killed after unknown gunmen opened fire while the staff was preparing for a meeting yesterday afternoon. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona.
Premier Panyaza Lesufi and the MEC for Education, Batume Chilwane, visited the school just to ascertain on what might have transpired and also interacted with both families and the employees to convey their condolences. The psycho support team will be dispatched to the school to support the learners, and the employee wellness will cater for the employees to provide necessary support.
The Mpumalanga provincial government has accused business forums for incomplete infrastructure projects in the province. It's reported that contractors have abandoned the projects because of the interference of business forums. This was mentioned during a meeting between officials of the provincial government and members of the National Council of Provinces in Emakazeni. The NCOP delegation is in the province to assess projects in Mpumalanga. Acting Premier Speedy Mashilo identified a few projects, including the Parliamentary Village in Bombela, that are delayed due to contract mafias.
We have since established a task team at the provincial level from the police to respond where there are challenges insofar as our projects that have been stopped. Some of our projects that we need to put some variations, we have since instructed the officials to move forward. Hence, in the budget adjustment, some project will be seen coming back so that we can complete this project. This is what the government were busy with, and we have presented this project. Other projects, of course, they must still have to be funded.
A federal judge in the United States has ruled that the tech giant Meta does not hold a monopoly in social media, and its acquisition of the photo-sharing app Instagram and the messaging app WhatsApp did not violate antitrust laws. The ruling comes after a 5-year legal battle with the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. The BBC's Lily Jamali has more details.
The FTC argued Meta overpaid for Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp 2 years later in a bid to neutralize its rivals. But on Tuesday, Judge James Boasberg in Washington sided with Meta, which had argued the company faces fierce competition.
3. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions. IoT that connects systems and people. And connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Streaming Skim Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into oyifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet, or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
So, you just switched to a different brand of kitchen and home appliances. And you're still getting products with stylish designs, built to last and perform, and more features than you expect for the price. Of course, because you made a clever switch to Clicks Cambric appliances with Clicks trusted quality and great value. When you switch, it just clicks. Switch and save only at Clicks.
Mr. Govender, congrats on the retirement. You just sold your car to We Buy Cars. Tell us about it.
Yes, it just gathered dust in the garage, so I exchanged it for cold hard cash. Now my wife and I can enjoy a stress-free retirement.
Retiring the car as you retire. Nice. So why We Buy Cars?
It was so quick. They came over to our house to do the evaluation, and we sold it the same day. Tops, man.
Okay, so now you got even more time on your hands, eh?
Exactly.
We Buy Cars. Geared for your next chapter. Geared for you.
This November, SAfm proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SAfm invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Fourways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAfm, leading the conversations that move us.
The Talking Point with Kathy Motlatlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, welcome to the third and final hour of the show. And coming up then in this hour, we will be taking you back to Parliament, where the Ad Hoc Committee is continuing its work. But of course, this is that important week that we've been building up to as a country, heading up the presidency of the G20. So you can expect more coverage from the social summit, which will be taking place right through till tomorrow, as you heard. Tomorrow, the president is expected to be here and also to receive that memorandum. He won't be the only head of state here, I understand, to receive the memorandums and the resolutions, I should call them, because on an international platform, there's no memorandum. It's resolutions and, all of that other language that goes with it. So you can expect more coverage right here on SAfm. And of course, we will be bringing you special coverage over the weekend in as far as the G20 is concerned. So for now, let's take you back to Parliament. And at the top of the hour, the update at noon will take over.
And then I spoke to them and said, if there is agreement between the parties, because we said to him that he will come back within 10 days. If there is agreement between the parties, let's have that happening. We will take the matter to the committee for ratification. And that is exactly what we presented yesterday, to say the committee should ratify the decision that would have been made to have here.
And the committee agreed that they ratified that decision. And my understanding was that the honorable members understand we are pressed for time. We no longer have any time available, and we're still waiting for the extension. But we must be able to have our key witnesses appearing in the event that extension is not granted. Some significant work must have been done. But look, even when that explanation is made, it does not take away accountability from the chairperson of the chairperson of the committee is responsible for everything that happens here. And where there would be mistakes, I will not even try and pass the buck to somebody. I will take responsibility for those mistakes that would have happened. Like Honorable Matthys says that maybe we could have shared that in the WhatsApp group to say, members, there is this proposal that Mr. Ngabinde should come back to the committee this week. I take responsibility for that, and I cannot even shift it to anybody. If there is any person that the committee must crucify, it's me. And secondly, I want to indicate that some of the matters that Honorable Matthys is raising may not be the matters that we deal with here. We can deal with those in the committee meeting when we discuss the budget that is allocated and so on and so forth. The fact that the witness is here and we have not received any application on their part to request extension means that, or where I'm sitting, I can assume that there has been agreement between them and the legal team that they will appear here today. And with regard to the quality of the statement, I think the approach that we should take is that honorable members are here. They can probe the witness. If there are issues that they are not happy with, they can indicate so that the witness is not responding to questions. I may not be persuaded on the statement that the witness has made because we cannot force the witness to write the statement anyhow. The witness writes what they think the committee deserves to get. I think we spoke to the witness last time when he was here. He's a human being. He's a responsible and reasonable public servant by presumption. And obviously, he must have done his best to give the committee the information that it deserves, especially with regard to the material weaknesses that could have been there in his statement last week regarding the chronology of events, which we said they must go and improve. So I think just one point that you may have to clarify, which Honorable Matthys spoke to, is with regard to what is called a supplementary affidavit. I think that is the point that you can clarify.
Sorry, Honorable Chair, I may have I just missed that. You want me to clarify why there's a supplementary affidavit?
Yeah. And what is its status?
Because it differs from his main affidavit. He explains the reason why. You will recall, Honorable Chair, there was an issue with the dates. The committee debated it with him and amongst themselves quite extensively. And he's obviously taken that on board with his legal team and is now sought to correct that. And he will explain how he's corrected it, what his sources were, and that, Honourable Chair, is typically done under oath in a sworn statement. And when you make more than one sworn statement, you would usually style it a supplementary statement or an additional statement or a supporting statement. And in this case, they elected to call it a supplementary affidavit. So the main affidavit still stands and is before the committee, and the supplementary affidavit serves to supplement and to explain some of the initial issues that arose from the main statement. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, with that explanation, I'm going to circulate to the members and then hear what their views are. Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think we must indicate that we take the concerns by Honorable Mateus in good light, because I think it's one of those regular checks that we always must do to safeguard the credibility of the process. But I think it is important to reflect a bit that part of what was the crux of why we deferred the witness was the issue relating to him having the numbers of Mr. Mkhotsi in Lusikisiki, whilst he claims that he has got the numbers of Mr. Mkhotsi preparing for the Stilfontein thingy. So there was a mismatch about the dates, which actually appeared that the witness might be misleading the ad hoc. And I think in the supplementary statement, the witness has thoroughly explained that the dates which actually ultimately led him to be in possession of the contacts of the men in question. So I think that part has been clarified, Chair. And also, Chair, we as the committee have actually advised Mr. Nkabinde to state plainly in the statements the challenges he's facing in soliciting some of the information that is required in the Ad Hoc Committee. And Mr. Nkabinde has also done that to an extent that went to an extent of saying, he even went to an extent of writing to Brigadier Kunene, who is the applicant for the seizure of his gadgets, and he didn't get any assistance. So we would have said, you must plainly explain to us in the statement that you have found these challenges in actually soliciting some of the information, and he has done that. Chair, it is correct that when we released him last week, it was plainly communicated to the witness that would recall him within a space of 10 days, and we have done that. Also, it is true, Chair, that we are not enjoying a luxury of time. In 7-8 days, our term of office is coming to an end. Of course, subject to what the House would decide on. So I think, Chair, it is important to note those things and say we must proceed noting what Honorable Mateus is saying. And it's just saying in a number of witnesses that are still coming, we must always avoid such kind of hiccups. Some are naturally going to come. It's a given fact. But it is very important to have a very innovative way of navigating through the challenges we encounter during this period. So, Chair, we say as we proceed noting what Mateus is saying and actually thanking the witness for having been able to provide this kind of crucial information under pressure like this. And it's a supplementary statement that deals with particular issues. The statement that mainly we're going to use is the main statement, was just correcting some of the issues we have raised with them and the legal team. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip. Okay, Honorable Nombalo.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I think I must start by saying that our ultimate goal is that the work of this committee must not be derailed unnecessarily. We don't want to fail South Africans by subjecting this committee to an unending process, to a monotonous process with no progress. But that, Chair, is withstanding the fact that our confusion, which we thought is going to be clarified by the SC, is that insofar as we understand the supplementary statement, it does not only correct areas that were identified by the ad hoc committee in a previous meeting. It goes further because our understanding is that in terms of the legal principle, a supplementary statement is wherein you supplement what has not been addressed in an original statement. In other words, you are not amending the original statement because a statement that has been made under oath cannot be amended. It can only be supplemented. For instance, if you did not mention the address wherein you stay in an original affidavit, you can make a request that, may I draft a supplementary affidavit which will add the address. You are making an addition. You are addressing shortfalls. So when we read and dissect this supplementary affidavit, it starts from, if I have the correct one, it starts from the first, from paragraph 1 until paragraph 78. So our understanding, Chair, was that a supplementary affidavit would actually come with maybe new aspects which have not been addressed in an original affidavit, to say, I forgot to mention that on this day this is what happened. I forgot to mention just those areas. Now, to us, this is a new statement. And if we can get some clarification on that, Chair, but obviously our firm view is that the work of the committee must not be derailed. We desire to move our work expeditiously, but we need that clarification from the SC. What happened, SC? Is this a new statement? And if it's a new statement, how many amendments have been made? And where are those amendments only related to the areas or to the gray areas that were identified previously by this committee, or the witness went further by making further amendments? But if he added some information, there is no crisis, which has not been addressed in the original statement. There's no crisis. A crisis can only arise in the event where the witness has chosen to amend some amendments or some remarks that he made in the previous statement. So we need that clarity, Chair. Thank you very much. Before we suggest whether can move on or we can stop the today's proceedings.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Just in response to Honorable Nombalo, this is not a new statement. The original statement that served before the Honorable Committee on the last occasion, that still stands. In The supplementary statement today, Mr. Nkabindi clarifies, and I want to refer to his statement. He says at paragraph 3, the supplementary statement is deposed to in amplification of my main statement dated 10 November 2025, filed with the committee. I further submit, that's in paragraph 4, that this statement is intended to clarify the dates on which the committee raised issues and required additional information when I appeared before it on the 13th of November. As will be gleaned from the supplementary statement, I still do not have access to my devices that were taken during the recent search and seizure at my house on the 10th of October 2025. I have, however, had to make alternative arrangements, as I will explain below, to verify some of the dates. Any dates not specifically corrected herein should be noted as remaining unchanged from the main statement. At paragraph 5, in this supplementary statement, I do not repeat the facts stated in my main statement and ask that they be read together as they relate to the same issues and facts, and the clarification and or rectifications be noted accordingly. The purpose of this statement is also to ensure that the committee is fully appraised of the challenges encountered, including delays, limited access to essential devices, and insufficient time afforded to prepare a proper response. Then on page 13 of the supplementary affidavit, there's a heading, my efforts to confirm the precise dates and information for the committee, and that is then explained. There are two main aspects that I will refer Mr. Nkabinde to, and they relate to the dates issue, recording his communication with Mr. Bakotsi, and the other aspect is in relation to the phone call from General Mkwanazi.
Thank you. I think that clarifies the matter, Honorable Nomba.
Yeah, no, Chair, we hear the explanation. However, Chair, our concern has not been allayed to this point. Because, Chair, our understanding is that in a supplementary statement, you don't make repetition of what is contained in an original statement. What was supposed to happen here, Chair, is that this supplementary statement was supposed to acknowledge the content contained in the original statement, not to repeat word by word. And then they just write a topic of issues that they supplement, facts that they supplement. It was not supposed to be this long, Chair. We're not supposed to have an introduction. We're not supposed to have a background of the deponent, because that has already been clarified in an original statement. So it creates a lot of confusion because it gives an impression that this is a statement that is amending the original statement. Because if it is not amending the original statement, should not repeat the same facts that have been, or the same averments that have been addressed under this original statement. It should only deal with a new supplemented information and say we note paragraph 1 of the original statement, we note paragraph 2, we note paragraph 3, and write a new heading, supplementary information, and you supplement. It was supposed to be only 2 pages, Chairperson, but now it's a repetition of this statement, and it creates a lot of confusion.
Yeah, no, I hear the point that you are saying. If you look at number 5, it says, in this supplementary statement, I do not repeat the facts stated in my main statement and ask that they be read together as they relate to the same issues and facts, and the clarification and rectifications to be noted accordingly. What the legal team might have done was to bring the contents of the earlier statement after this preface, so that in the event we want to make reference, you don't have to be having two documents in front of you, but the contents of the previous statement have not been changed. That is why it is written there at number 5, the way you are saying. I agree with you that in terms of the structure, you would have wanted maybe 1 or 2 pages. But the other, am I correct, SC, that the contents of the previous statement have been included in this supplementary statement?
Indeed, Honourable Chair,
Yes.
it's confirmed by Mr. Gabinde. And in the ordinary course, if there's any material differences that constitute contradictions in his in the supplementary, and it contradicts what he says in the main, then clearly he will have to take responsibility for that. Any adverse finding that is made, um, um, will be made. Um, as evidence leaders, I think I've explained it a few times. We interact, we consult, we do a draft, we send it to the witness concerned. The witness concerned, almost all our cases now, have their lawyers. They look at it. Sometimes they make minor amendments. Other times they redraft the statement completely and send us their statement. And it is not for us as evidence leaders to tear it up, throw it in the bin, and say, no, we don't accept what you say in your statement. Provided they do so under oath and they take responsibility for it. Our job is to lead them according to their statement, and for the rest, the honourable members then debated with them and asked them questions.
Chair, no, I think the SC is not helping us at all. If anything, he is just exacerbating our confusion. Because one, it's your responsibility, SC, to guide the witness on legal technicalities. The witness has a responsibility to produce content of his statement, but to guide him on legal technicalities is your responsibility. So you can't run away from that. Secondly, Chair, we still insist that this is not a supplementary affidavit. This is a new statement. And this statement amends this statement. Because if you say on paragraph 5, Chairperson, of the supplementary affidavit, you are not going to repeat issues which have been addressed in the original statement, but on the following paragraphs, you repeat them. Issues which have been addressed on the previous statement. That means, and when you repeat them, that means you are amending. And we're saying, Chair, by law, that is not allowed. You can't amend a statement that has been sworn. I mean, a statement that has been made under oath. It's illegally wrong, Chairperson. And I'm so disappointed that the SC does not address that. Is shifting the blame to the witness as if he can take anything that comes from a witness, even a love letter, which has not been made under oath. It's his responsibility. We must agree on that. So, Chair, but like we said, that our intention here is not to delay. Maybe we can note all these things for deliberations because we really want to proceed. We have an interest of questioning this witness, but these observations that we have made here are worrisome. And what exacerbates our concern is how the SC is reacting to our concerns. It's trying to belittle them and is being dismissive, whereas he has a responsibility to guide witnesses on legal technicalities.
Okay. Is your hand up, Honorable Scosa? Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I'll summarize, Chair. You know, General Mkwanazi has put cat among the pigeons. We cannot fail him here. And I'm disappointed as well, you know, that the witness, besides their SC, is got a legal team. And they know the law. They know exactly what we are talking about. What my colleague has spoken about here, if you look at the original submission and you look at the supplementary, completely, it was not, it was only about the dates which the witness told us here that he told the legal team, meaning our legal team, that he was not sure because of the gadgets. But when you look at the document, this supplementary, it's replacing the original sworn affidavit. And it can't be right, Chair. But anyway, for the sake of progress, I'm not sure whether legally this thing is not going to have impact on us as a committee, but really it's disappointing and it's not a laughable issue. You know, we are dropping the ball, and we always mention this thing on the other committees that some of our professionals are really failing us, and this is a egg on our face as well because we are not here to have a gossip. No, we are here to do our work, and we must represent our people to the fullest. We cannot be seen as, you know, that we are, like my colleague said, it's not a love letter. This is a serious document. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Cameron.
Thanks, Chair. I think we should just proceed. You know, the AC is not here to be a legal advisor to Mr. Nkabindi. He's got his own legal team. They need to do what they need to do. Let's move on. He can take responsibility for whatever he says. We're not there to do. I mean, if we have to go into legal advice for all of the witnesses, we'd be here until Easter of 2029. So let's move forward. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Matthews.
Chair, we just want to make it note that we didn't raise this matter because we are trying to delay processes or we want the witness to go home today. It was to make a correction to that statement.
Yeah.
And the bigger point here is that we can sit through the whole day today. And when we do our findings and when we do our review, when we do our findings and we do our recommendations, we can be taken under review and our whole process of what we are doing. So we just want to make sure that we are doing the right thing. And we did the same thing when General Mkwanazi was here and he came with the supplementary statement. And we had to go and say, let's go and fix it and make it as a statement. So for the sake of expediency, it mustn't be at the sake of legal processes. And I agree that the senior counsel is trying to pass on blame. We do understand that the witness has his own legal team, but it's something very simple. Where you properly advised, can a witness come here and say, I thumbsucked? He's not answering. He's saying legally, can a witness come and say to us under oath, I thumbsuck the statement, and the next minute we supplementing it? Yes or no? I don't understand how was the witness advised to do a supplementary statement and not submit a new statement. It's not even, most of that is just cut and paste and just redo it. This whole process of us spending 1 hour going back and forth is so unnecessary because it just needs to be fixed. How do we accept a supplementary statement? And the senior counsel is not telling us how he decided to put this witness down with a supplementary statement, because he could have came to us and say, the witness is not cooperating, he wants to give us a supplementary statement instead of a new statement. We are quite happy to proceed, but we don't want to proceed under conditions that are that we are going to be held accountable later. And perhaps the senior counsel must tell us that if we are taken, our report is taken under review, what recourse are we going to have? And how is he going to be held accountable for the advice that he's given us that we must accept and we must proceed with a supplementary statement? We want to proceed. Can we just go and fix that statement? I'm sure it won't take long, and remove that word supplementary and make it as a new statement to the committee. That's all. Thank you.
Honorable Solve. Yeah, I'll come to you, Chief.
Chair, my understanding of the difference between what we're dealing with now and what we dealt with General Mkwanazi's statement is that he had a statement submitted to the Madlanga Commission, and then he had a statement to us. Then he phrased the statement to us as a supplementary statement to the statement that he made to the Madlanga Commission. And we had a problem with the fact that he calls the statement to us a supplement to that statement. We are looking for a main statement in total. So it was for that reason that they had to go back and then come back, and we considered the entirety of what he submitted to Madlanga and to us as the main statement. The difference here is that the witness had to go back and clarify a section within his statement that he said was thumbs up because he didn't have access to his phones and other resources. The committee then allowed him to go back and clarify that. He comes back today and calls that parts that he has clarified a supplement to the main statement. It doesn't replace the main statement. Now, Chair, of course, I'm not an attorney, so I'm going to leave the judgment on the legal technicalities of the document to the SC. If the SC says it satisfies the legal technicalities, I've got to believe him. Where I make a contribution is on looking at what the witness says in the statement, and I want to read it. He's explicit in the designation of the statement. He says, he calls it supplementary witness statement of Cedric Nkabinde. That tells me he's telling us that's a supplement. He then also says that it must be read together as they relate on the same issues and facts. He then further says, in this supplementary statement, I do not repeat the facts stated in my main statement. He then says, where I have not corrected something, it remains as stated in my original statement. So my understanding is that these two statements now forms the main statement. Then on the issue of did Mr. Nkabinde have enough time? He did have enough time in context of the fact that as the committee, we don't have the luxury of time. So the witness had to consider it as a matter of urgency. When he left on Thursday, from that moment of leaving on Thursday, he had to start working on getting confirmation. So he had Thursday, then he had a full day on Friday. Then he had 48 hours, full working days, Monday and Tuesday. That is a lot of time. And then for police, I would think for information such as this, there should be access over the weekend. But that's debatable. But given that he had a full Friday, a full Monday and Tuesday to get clarification or confirmation, in my view, that's enough time. On the issue of Brigadier Kunene from the PKTT, who has not responded back to grant access to the witness to assist in verifying the statement, that is problematic. To date, you have Brigadier Kunene not having responded at all. The question is, is the PKTT interested in assisting this committee then to investigate properly the veracity of the allegations? So that is a big question. I conclude by saying, Chair, based on the above, we should proceed. Thank you.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Um, it is worrying that a chief of staff cannot take responsibility for his actions. We are in this mess because he undermined this committee in the first place. If anything, he's had an advantage over all the other witnesses because he was given additional time, which he still today comes with a supplementary question, a supplementary statement. We are still subjected to a thumb suck statement for as long as we have this incorrect statement with incorrect dates, with thumb sucked information in here, we are still subjected to it. I don't understand. In the supplementary statement, it says here, and this is where it confuses me, I do not repeat the facts stated in my main statement. Those aren't facts in the main statement. That is thumb suck information. So I would have expected that the supplementary statement today would have read statement, and we would have only had one statement before us. So the outcome of today's proceedings, he will have to bear the consequences of it. That is number one, but we cannot continue delaying. We need to move on for the sake of progress. And that's where I leave it. Thank you, Chair.
Chief Whip.
No, thanks, Chair. Good morning to colleagues and Mr. Ngabinde and his team, and of course our legal team. No, Chair, I think Honorable Souls has dealt with the first part of what I wanted to raise. The distinction between how we handled the statement of Lieutenant General Mkwanas during his appearance to us and the one that is before us. So let me just emphasize one point in that regard, that in this case, we were given a statement ourselves, which was not coming from anywhere else except from the witness. And there were concerns about the accuracy of certain information, as a consequence of which we then agreed that the witness must be given more time to obtain that information. I think we've got to depart from the understanding that to the extent that it was possible, he has managed to secure the information that was required. We now have it with us. The dilemma that members are raising, which I fully understand, is that but before us today is our original statement or his original statement and the supplemental and statement. And the question is not just of form, that there are two. It's also about the content, from what I think some of my colleagues have raised. Now, this is how I suggest we proceed, Chair. One, I think we should allow the witness to give an indication as to whether the supplemental entirely erased the main one. That's number one. Or he proposes that we must interface with them as one document.
Just to, he says they must be read together in the supplementary statement.
Okay, if that is what he says, I want to suggest that we proceed in that direction. It may very well be that as we proceed, we may discover inconsistencies between the one and the other. And if that happens, and if that situation arises, it will be incumbent upon him to clarify us why that and how does he want us to understand where there's an inconsistency. So that's what I want to propose, that in support of all my other colleagues, that we should proceed, but our proceedings must be guided by the fact that it is on his court to guide us when we raise matters that are contradicting between the two. So I want to appeal, Chair, that we don't take a break and start working on it again, but we proceed with that understanding that as we pick up contradictions, the witness must help us to interact with those contradictions. But I accept and I understand the concerns as raised originally from Honorable Matheus and all other colleagues.
But my appeal is that, notwithstanding all of those concerns, let's find a way in which we can proceed without taking a break to deal with the matter. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Nomvalo.
No, Chair, we are not far apart from the submissions that have been made by the latter speaker. But we just want to correct one thing, Chair, so that we don't proceed on a wrong note here.
Yeah.
The reason why the SC engages in a consultative process with witnesses is for him to guide them on legal technicalities. If the SC has no role to play in the content or in the legal technicalities, then there is no need for a consultation to take place between him and witnesses. So the suggestion that Honorable Cameroon is making, that the SC has no responsibility to guide witnesses, is actually far-fetched and untrue, to say the least. We must never proceed on that note, Chair, because we are going to mess things up. Because if we agree on that, then witnesses must just submit statements without having a consultation with the SC. They must just submit them so that we can solely blame witnesses and their legal teams. Here we're blaming the legal team, our legal team, the senior counsel. These are the issues that he must identify and deal with during the consultative process. We just wanted to address that. Chair, like we said, we support the idea that let's move on, but we just need one clarity from the witness. In the original affidavit, Chair, because I just want to be practical. I think under page 2, the topic there is contents. It says that in the original affidavit, on page 16, the witness will talk about the minister's directive of the 31st. And on page, okay, then in the supplementary affidavit, on page 2 again, the witness is making an indication again that he will talk about the directive of the minister. 2, on the same page of the supplementary affidavit, the witness is saying on page 22.
SAfm 104 to 107 nationwide.
Same issues in different statements. Are you making amendments or you are making a supplementary of what has not been contained in an original affidavit? Now you supplement it in a supplementary affidavit under the same topic. I'm not sure if my question is clear, because that's what triggers our confusion as well. When you talk about the same issue, when you address the issue which has been addressed already here, what is the intention? Do you intend to amend or you intend to supplement what is contained here in the original affidavit? So that when we move on, Chair, we move with a correct understanding of his intentions. That is a clarity that we have. Thank you.
Mr. Nkabinde, remember, you are still under oath. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. My understanding how I outlined the topics is that in that specific topics, there are things that I wanted to clarify, to supplement. So I wanted to make it easier that what I'm supplementing in this topic, you will find it in page so and so, because even when you read in my supplementary, I'm referring also to a certain page and a paragraph of the main statement. This is what I'm amplifying and I'm supplementing. and more of clarifying. Thank you, Chair.
No, I think we are fine with the response.
Last will be Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify, when we used General Mkonazi's supplementary statement, it wasn't because we were that we did not understand that the dynamics were different between the supplementary statement and his original statement. We didn't use that as an example on that. We used it as an example to indicate the process that we used to make sure that we do not compromise ourselves as a committee and that we use the opportunity to fix it so we could proceed in that manner. So it wasn't that we were under some delusion that the two are the same. And just on the issue, and we're going to conclude now on the issue of amending a statement and clarifying. There's a difference between clarifying points in a main statement and changing it. So we will note that there are dates that need to be changed in the main statement. It's not clarifying. Literally, dates needed to be changed, not clarifying. So that must also be noted. And I think the committee must be cognitive of the decision that we've taken today. And when we go into deliberations, what's going to happen. And also our evidence leaders must also be cognitive of the situation that they've placed us in, who are representing the people of this nation, by just not doing something very simple of just saying that this is a statement instead of a supplementary statement, because we still don't have an explanation why it is a supplementary statement, because all it needed to be was just a statement, and we would have not wasted an entire hour discussing something like this that has huge legal implications. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, honorable members. Let's do this. Number one, all of you as members of this committee, I do not have any doubt that your intention is to work in the best interest of the people of South Africa. And number two is that you want to do your work very diligently and very meticulously, because you are lawmakers. You are the first to observe the law of this country and make sure that you defend and protect it. I also want to persuade you, honorable members, that stop sniping at each other and focus on the work that we must do. I know that you come from different ideological persuasions, you come from different political quarters. Talking back at each other is not going to help us. Let's focus on the work as a team. That is what will help us to achieve what we want to do. SC, the members have made very important observations. Yeah. And the last time when a similar observation was made, I said that we accept that we were not perfect. I remember when I did an interview with one television station. I told them that there was a footballer in Italy in the name of Franco Baresi. Franco Baresi is one of the very few players in history to have played in 5 World Cups. He featured for the first time in 1978. When the World Cup was played in Italy in 1990, he was there. And apparently in the USA 1994, he was still there. 5 World Cups from 1978. In that illustrious career, he unfortunately conceded 8 own goals. But that did not take away his illustrious achievements. So I want to say to you that when criticism is made, take that criticism in good light. It must not break your spirit. You must take it as something that is well intended, and that members appreciate the work that you do. And even after a hard day of work, sitting alone, you may still feel that it was not enough. You could have done better. And where members make these critical observations, I want to exhort you to ensure that we improve, so that the work of the committee is not scuppered. Honorable Matthias is right that we sat here for an hour having to discuss the form, not even the content. I think it was only one paragraph that Honorable Nomvalo wanted to be clarified, but discussing the form of the statement. I think it's a thing that we must improve on. But at the end of the day, honorable members, I have said it that as the chairperson of this committee, I would not even wish the criticism to go on anybody. I take responsibility for everything. You know, when you are a driver of a bus, passengers can sit at the back, some even drink, some take their provisions and start eating and dancing in the bus. But if the bus gets a puncture, the driver must explain to passengers, how did it happen that we got a puncture? Why did you bring us this kind of a tire here or this kind of a bus here? So I'm taking responsibility on behalf of everybody. So we are going to proceed. We're not going to administer oath today because we administered oath on you, Mr. Ngabinde. You are still under oath. And let me remind you what we said so that we don't get stuck in the proceedings. When we parted with you last week, and I think this is what is going to help us in the proceedings today, because this is what stopped our proceedings last night. We said that when you come back today, or whatever day we shall have decided, before we proceed, we are going to check with you that you have put the helmet of integrity on your head. And I can see today you have that helmet of integrity. We said that you will put the badge of conscience. And that badge of conscience is here with us today, a necklace of morality and amulets of ethics, because that is what will give us a crown of credibility. So we are going to proceed in that way. Our presumption is that the helmet is there, the badge is there, the necklace is there, and the amulets are there. SC and Mr. Ngabinde, your time starts now, and I want to wish both of you good luck in leading evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. No more own goals. Mr. Ngabini, again, welcome. afternoon, and thank you for your cooperation. Um, your last appearance before the committee, um, you were granted a break uh, uh, to allow you time to verify and to supplement some aspects in your witness statements, which we will deal with. You deal with it it's on page 13 of your supplementary affidavit. From paragraph 49 onwards on page 13. So perhaps you, from 49 to 54, you can just summarize for us what efforts you made to address the shortcomings in your original statement, which were highlighted by the Honourable Committee.
Thank you, Chair. To summarize my efforts to confirm precise dates, what I have done, I consulted with the personal assistant to the minister.
Minister Mkhunu.
To the Minister Mkhunu.
Yeah.
I consulted with him if I can have access to the minister's calendar, because the minister's activities will be precisely as to in relation to the dates I'm looking for. Another effort, I instructed my lawyers to write a letter to Brigadier Gunene, if at least can I have access to check the relevant dates, even if they don't give back my gadgets, just to go through my dates. But unfortunately, there were no response from that letter. There was not even an acknowledgement received. So with the help of the calendar of the minister, including with the travel agencies looking into the traveling itineraries of the minister, then I was able to be precise with the dates of a sequence of events that are relevant to the committee, Chair.
Thank you. So you still didn't have access to your cell phone, to your gadgets that were seized during the search and seizure operation that was led by Brigadier Kuneni.
Can you repeat your question?
I said you still have not had access to your gadgets, your mobile devices.
Yes.
That were seized during this operation earlier in October.
Yes, that's correct.
So these dates that you now refer to, you reconcile that with the personal diary of Minister Mkhunu's PA.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay. So let's go there. Can I refer you to your original affidavit? To paragraph 75. It's under the subheading Brown Mogotsi on page 24, and it goes through to 83. You see that?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And it's at paragraph 75, you said, as indicated, I was present at the Portfolio Committee meeting of police on 5 March 2025. During this meeting, Lieutenant General Nkwenazi indicated to the meeting that I confirmed to him that Brown Mogotsi was a person who is close to the minister. And then in the following paragraph, in this regard, I wish to clarify that I received a call from Lieutenant General Nkwenazi on 30 September while I was with the minister on a visit to Lusikisiki in relation to the killings that had happened in Lusikisiki. So that is where that's the first occasion where there was a pause and several questions, and you now address this in your supplementary affidavit at paragraph 57. Or rather, perhaps you should just start. You record this in a chronology, your record of communications with Mr. Mahotsi for 2024, and then more pointedly at paragraph 57. Sorry, it's 56. At 56 on page 18. Sorry.
It starts on the page 15. It starts on the page 15.
You
Paragraph,
want to start at page 15?
paragraph 55.
Yes, you may.
The subheading there, it's a record of communication with Mr. Mohotsi, chronology of material events. After checking with the minister's PA and consulting the minister's diary, I confirm the relevant dates regarding my knowledge of Brown Mohotsi are as follows. In and during August 2024, there was an ongoing standoff developed at an abandoned gold mine in Stilfontein, which resulted in a significant humanitarian crisis involving hundreds of illegal miners called or commonly known as Zamazamas. So there was that crisis during August.
Yep.
If I go to paragraph 55.3, hundreds and possible thousands of miners from countries such as Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Lesotho remained trapped underground, fearful of resurfacing due to the police presence and potential retaliation from armed criminal groups controlling the mine. Then from 18 August 2024 onwards, some miners began resurfacing on their own initiative, after which they were immediately detained and processed by authorities. So, Chair, this is a background of prompted the minister to convene a staff meeting on the 20th of August, 2024, because this information were viral on the media. So it concerns the minister. So 20 August, in paragraph 55.5, the minister called a staff meeting, and he instructed us in the meeting to make, through the department, to make arrangement for him to go and visit Stilfontein. I confirm that it was at this meeting when the minister provided me with the contact details of Mr. Brown Mohotsi from Northwest. And I recall that minister instructed me that I should contact Mr. Mohosi and ask him to come with some local leaders to brief him on the situation before his visit, which I accordingly instructed to facilitate for this engagement. I then contacted Mr. Mohosi on the same day of that meeting and informed him that I will revert once a suitable date for the briefing had been identified. So I followed the usual protocol that we follow with the staff to ascertain the minister's earliest availability for the proposed meeting. I checked the minister's availability with the PA in order to facilitate this meeting with Mr. Brown. At the time, the minister's calendar was fully booked for August, and a date of September was considered. 55.9, although I cannot recall the exact date. During the second week of September, I again engaged Mr. Mokhotsi and identified the date of 30th of September 2024 as a possible meeting date based on the minister's availability. Mr. Mokhotsi undertook to confirm with the other expected attendees, and he reverted to me few days later confirming their availability. And accordingly, the meeting was scheduled as follows. It was going to be on Monday, 30th September. The time allocated for this meeting was 11 to 12, 1 hour. The guest, which was Brown Mokhotsi plus 4 other people. The venue of the meeting was going to be at an official residence. On the 30th September in the morning, I recall that an urgent matter arose for the minister and the meeting had to be cancelled. I accordingly informed Mr. Mokhotsi about the cancellation, and I advised him that I will advise him of a new date once it's been identified. During October 2024, a new date, suitable date for the meeting was identified as the 28th of October 2024. I engaged Mr. Mokhotsi to facilitate this meeting, and within few hours he returned and confirmed availability of the group. The meeting was accordingly scheduled as follows. It was going to be Monday, 28 October 2024. The time allocated for this meeting was 4:30 in the afternoon to 5:30. It was also an hour allocation. The meeting guest was Brown Mokhotsi plus 4 other people. The venue for this meeting was official residence. I further facilitated all logistical arrangements for the meeting as per my role and responsibilities, and it proceeded as scheduled. I, however, as I testified previously before this committee, I did not attend this meeting, and therefore I'm unable to confirm the discussions that were had in that meeting. I reiterate that I can only reasonably confirm that the meeting discussed the issues concerning the crisis with the Zamazamas at Stilfontein, as that is the purpose of which this meeting was arranged for. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So this meeting, did it deal with any official police or policing business?
That's correct. That's correct, Chair.
So what role? We know that Mr. Mokhotsi is not a police officer. Is that right?
That's correct.
So what would be his role in this meeting or at the meeting? Why would the meeting be facilitated with him?
The minister wanted for me to arrange a meeting. He was planning to go and visit Stilfontein. Then he suggested that he needs to have an engagement with some local leaders to get an understanding before he goes there. So he then gave me the number of Mr. Mohozi. I believe he's from Northwest, for him to assist and get other leaders to come and brief him about the situation.
So the other, I think you mentioned the other 4 persons at the meeting. You can't record who they were. Were they local leaders?
According to the arrangement, Brown Mohot had to come with some local leaders, of which I don't know who are they. I don't know their names.
So, despite not being at the meeting, did you make any follow-up on what happened at that meeting, what the outcome was at that meeting? Was there, in fact, a further meeting in relation to this issue, the Zama Zama issue?
No, I never inquire, but I also remember that there was going to be a follow-up meeting that the minister wanted me to convene again for the same people, which was gonna be in the early year of 2025. If I go to paragraph 56, in early January 2025, although I cannot recall the exact date, the minister instructed me to facilitate a follow-up meeting with Mr. Mukhotsi and the same group of individuals. After reviewing minister's calendar, 3rd of February 2025 was identified as a suitable date, which I informed Mukhotsi, and he confirmed his availability. And the meeting was accordingly scheduled as follows. It was going to be Monday, 3 February 2025. The allocation of this meeting was 1 hour, 11 to 12. Venue official residence. 56.2, it was approximately 15 minutes where after the scheduled start of the meeting, the Mr. Mkhotsi were running late, and then I had to check how far are they. Then when I contact Mr. Mkhotsi to check on their arrival, he informed me that the individuals that should accompany him had been urgently called at Lutuli House, and they were now unable to attend. So that was another follow-up meeting, but it could not materialize.
Can I just take you back to paragraph 55.7? That that date there, it seems to be a typographical. It's 20 August 2024.
2024, yes.
Not 2025.
No, it's 2024. It's a typo.
You don't need to make another affidavit for that. So again, what you fairly early into your tenure as chief of staff.
Yes.
Around about this time, you in fact had just been appointed.
That's correct.
On the 1st of August 2020. So what do you make, or what are your impressions of Mr. Mkhotsi? Is it only because of the Stilfontein Zama Zama issue, and because of his perhaps because of his standing in the Northwest province, that he could be of some assistance? What did you make of it? What did you know about him?
With my observation, it was only for this Stilfontein, this arrangement of these meetings. Why I'm saying that, After all these arrangements of these meetings, I have never seen Mr. Mkhotsi in coming to the minister or ever facilitated any meeting for him to come and see the minister. It's been a year now. There has never been such a thing. So my observation will be that time it was that brewing issue of Stilfontein. And probably because it's coming from the same province, I don't know what rationale behind the minister to identify him who will be able to assist in getting other local leaders.
Honorable Ngola.
No, thanks, Chair. A quick one. I thought this will pursue further this question of Mr. Mkhotsi not being a police officer. Are you aware of him being a police informant, a police conduct, of anything of that sort?
Not at all.
May proceed, SC.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So are you absolutely certain that Mr. Mkhotsi never visited the minister at his offices? I take it that your office would be next door to the minister's office. Just
Yes.
in the ordinary way, you as chief of staff, you'd be close to the
I'm
minister.
close to him and I'm responsible to facilitate his meetings. I'm responsible for his calendar actually.
And you say Mr. Mkhotsi was never in either in your office or the minister's office.
No, not at all.
So just for your comment, so when Mr. Mkhotsi states that he would have made a call from the minister's office to Mr. Matlala, either he's mistaken or he's not telling the truth.
When is he saying? Can you repeat?
If he says that he made a call from the minister's office to Mr. Matlala, to Kat Matlala, from the minister's office, then you wouldn't have been aware of that.
Yes, that has never happened in
Or
my
certainly not
in my presence. Yes.
not in your presence.
Yes.
Honorable Skosana and then Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. I guess it's normal that the ministerial schedule meetings are characterized by attendance list. And I guess the 4 people who attended that meeting, the names should be there. Unless I'm lost, but in my knowledge, that's how things are done. I think those four names should be in that list. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm covered by Honorable Skusana. Because surely at the official residence, when you say you don't know the names, you say in your testimony that you were responsible for facilitating the logistics. So you didn't know who they were, you didn't know what cars they were coming in. There's no security at the official residence. Is that what you're saying? And then secondly, also you say that the meeting was cancelled because who was called to Latuli House? Was it Mr. Mkhotsi or was it the Zama Zama community activists that were now being called to Latuli House instead of the meeting? Can we just get clarity on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The last question, this is the information I got from Mr. Mkhotsi. He indicated that the comrades that he is coming with, that they are now called, not him. The way he indicated it, it was not him who was called. He said these people, he referred them as comrades. Because even when we are confirming the meeting, how many people, how many are you? He will then say, I come with other 4 comrades. Because he even calls the minister Comrade Senzo. That is how he used. So He just said, no, the other comrades that I must come with, they were we are already here in Gauteng, but they were urgently called. So it means not him. Then coming to the attendance register, these types of meetings where the PA is not in the meeting, I'm not in the meeting, it's highly impossible for the minister to take those administrative, because no one attended that meeting in the staff except the minister himself. And with at the gate where you come to the official residence, there are police officials at the gate. You only informed them that we are expecting a visitor by the name of Brown Mohotsi. He is coming with other 4 people. So then they let them go. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable James.
Chair, I put it to you, Mr. Nkabinde, that at all the parliamentary villages, and I'd like to think that security is even tighter at an official residence, you don't just give the name of one person. It is mandatory for you to present your ID at the gate, and they have record of everyone that gains access into that official residence. Could you not have called the security to get the names? Because we want to know who these names are. Because right now, I'm not sure if they are activists, community Zama Zama activists, or are they comrades? We need to know who these people were. Thank you, Chair.
Do I comment, Chair?
If you can please respond.
Yes. No, this is a standard practice where official of residence of the minister is situated. You simple alert them that you are expecting a visitor. There is no register there. They are not taking any registration. That's what I even observing there. So I don't know if they are doing the right thing or not. Thank you.
So what the members want to know is, in that meeting, was there no attendance register which was taken?
No, Chair, because the minister was alone. Normally, if the PA is there, he would have facilitated that.
So, and then Mr. Mokhodzi was arranging that meeting with you,
That's correct.
and then he did not tell you what are the names of the other 5 he was coming with.
No, Chair, I never asked as well.
Okay, and these people were going to brief him about the situation in the Stilfontein mining area.
That's correct, Chair.
And then from your knowledge, or what you could have heard, were the senior leaders that were coming from the provincial government whose under whose departments or line functions mining could fall?
I'm not sure, Chair, because I don't know who are those people.
Okay. Honorable Skosan.
Yeah, my follow-up question, Chair, why I was asking that to the witness is that you remember very well what Minister Senzo Mkhunu told us here. He said very vividly that he never responded to Brown Mokhotsi's messages. I remember very well sitting here that he disowned him completely. But anyway, it will come to that, SC, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to be honest to you that what we are saying now to us is completely foreign to us of what the minister told us. you know, but I'm happy that, you know, you are giving it to us now, you know, and thank you, Chair.
We may proceed, SC.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair. Can I also refer you to another aspect, Mr. Nkabindi, which you were required to address? Can I refer you to paragraph 76 of your main affidavit, where you say, in this regard, I wish to clarify that I received a call from Lieutenant General Kwenazi on 30 September 2024, while I was with the Minister on a visit to Lusikisiki in relation to the killings that had happened in Lusikisiki. And you then address this in your supplementary paragraph 57 on page 19. You, do you want to deal with it?
Thank you, Chair. I wish to clarify and supplement paragraph 76 of my main statement and place it on record that after verifying the details, I can confirm that I received a call from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi on the 1st of October 2024, not 30th September 2024. This call was received while I was accompanying the minister on his first visit to Lusigisigi in relation to the killings that had occurred in the area.
Can I also refer you to MK 16, MK 16 and MK 17 at page 313, 314, and 315. There's a WhatsApp exchange. MK 17, it should be in a bundle. MK 16,
There's
MK 17.
16. There's MK 17, yes. 313 page.
315.
Yeah.
Have you got it there,
Yeah,
Mr.
got it.
Ngabinde?
Thank you.
Is this the call that you are referring to after General Nkwenazi had shared this WhatsApp with you on page 315?
Three one five.
Yes.
Which call are you referring
Chair,
to
I
here?
think the
WhatsApp,
SC has
the
left
WhatsApp.
us behind. We don't see
The
which,
call
annexure
relates
is
to
this.
this WhatsApp.
Let's do this. Honorable Ngola is making a point here.
No, I'm saying, Chair, the SC is leaving us behind. We don't see which annexure is he referring to. We only heard that he says MK17. So we are trying to look for that. So can you please not leave us behind?
On the last occasion, Honorable Chair, it was handed to the committee as an exhibit, MK16 and MK17.
We can confirm, Chair, that we don't have that annex.
May we proceed, yeah?
We don't have the annex.
Mr. Gabindi, you have it. This is an extract of General Mkwenazi's state. It was attached to his statement the last time, so we just extracted this
Okay.
to raise it with you.
Yes, you said 315 the page.
315, yeah.
Yes, I have it.
Yeah. Now this call that you referred to
I don't
at
see a
bed,
call here, Chair.
on page 19 of your supplementary statement and paragraph 57, this is what you say. I wish to clarify and supplement paragraph 76 of my main statement and place it on record that after verifying the details, I can confirm that I received a call from Lieutenant General Mkwenazi on 1 October 2024 and not 30 September 2024. That's the
Yes.
correction that you made. This call was received while I was accompanying the minister on the first visit to Lusikisiki in relation to the killings that had occurred in the area.
Yes.
So we are now referring you to this WhatsApp, which is also referred to at paragraph 77 of your main statement, where you say Lieutenant General Mkwenazi sent me a WhatsApp text during our telephonic conversation. That's the one you referred to on 1 October, in relation to an occurrence book that he had received from Brown Mokgotsi about interference by Lieutenant General Mkwenazi during an arrest of a senior correctional services commissioner who was found allegedly in possession of drugs. Lieutenant General Mkwenazi said that Brown Mokgotsi indicated to him that he knows the minister. Lieutenant General Mkwenazi wanted to know who Brown Mokgotsi is and whether he knew the minister. So if you go back to the bundle MK17, you'll see on page 313, that's an extract from the occurrence book. And then there's this exchange, and these WhatsApps are then copied to you in the middle of the page. The minister is brief. He has just arrived in Lusikisiki. And on the following page, the 315, my General Brown Mokgotsi from the Northwest, an internal attempt to discredit you through defeating the end case. Morning, sir. What are you talking about? What defeating case are you referring to, and who is behind that? Do you want to comment on that?
Yes, I see. I see conversation here between two people.
Yeah.
Who are these people? I'm not sure. Who are these people
And
talking
then
here?
at paragraph 78, your narrative goes on to, I confirm that I knew who Brown Mogotsi was, and that the Minister too knew Brown Mogotsi from Northwest. Lieutenant General Kwenazi sent Brown Mogotsi's number to me, and I confirmed that it was indeed Brown Mogotsi's number. I never referred to Brown Mogotsi as a close associate, quote unquote, of the Minister, as was described by Lieutenant General Kwenazi during the meeting of 5 March 2025. That's the Portfolio Committee meeting. Then you say, I personally got to know Brown Mogotsi during my position as Chief of Staff, and you referred to the meetings you referred to earlier. I facilitated a meeting between Minister Mkhunu and Brown Mogotsi, together with other members of the ANC from the Northwest Province. And in your original statement, you've got during October/November 2024, and you've now confirmed that date as the 28th of October 2024, and that you reference in your supplementary affidavit at paragraph 55.9. You see that?
I say that.
Yeah. Now, the IDEC complaint that had been referred to, sorry, the IPID complaint, is also at Annexure MK27. Is that the one? At page 602, MK27, if you got that.
I got it.
This is a complaint which is authored and signed by, is it Mr. Kefe Lakai?
Yes.
Kefe Lakai on 12 March 2025. And it's addressed to Lieutenant General Kwenazi. Kindly note that IPID received a complaint of interference from the Minister of Police, and it's the IPID registration number. It is alleged that on Monday, the 8th of January 2024, at about 20:45, an operation was conducted at Kuala Busha prison residential area, and then some further details are provided. The objective of IPID is to give effect to the Constitution. Then in terms of further provisions are cited there, and at paragraph 6 it says the IPID have certain information in its disposal.
Well, unfortunately, that's all our time for this afternoon. But thank you so much for being with us, Chief of Staff in the Police Ministry, Cedric Nkabinde, back before the Ad Hoc Committee today. And of course, an hour in terms of wrangling and talking about the veracity of the statements and whether they would be legally admissible and hold water, etc. But of course, they did ultimately get underway. And that's where we leave it. Thanks so much from the Update at Noon team. And after the break, you'll have your latest news with Ondelambana.
48 nations, one dream.
The FIFA Under-17 World Cup hits Qatar and Mzansi's Amajimbo's are in the fight.
It's game on everywhere. From 3 to 27 November, catch the action live on SABC Plus, SABC Radio, and SABC TV.
Download SABC Plus now. Stream, listen, watch.
SABC Sport, for the love of the game. It's Black November at MTN. A whole month of great deals. Get a 100 gig MTN mobile internet Ruby plan, now just 319 per month for 12 months. And for just 20 Rand extra per month, add a 4G pocket router and connect up to 10 devices. Plus, get a free 10 gig startup bundle, redeemable on the MTN app. So don't miss out. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. T's and C's apply. Today, we make moves. MTN.
When love turns to hate and hate turns to violence, the truth is never simple. In Love and Hate Crime Season 2, real stories expose the dark side of human emotion, where identity, passion, and prejudice collide. Powerful, unflinching, unforgettable. These are the crimes that challenge what we think we know about love and humanity. Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on S3. S3, open up.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The best of the good life is coming back in 2026. But first off, Billings, Jonathan, Fez, and myself reunite for a road trip to the top beaches in SA. Kraalbaai, Camps Bay, Boulders Beach, and Nature's Valley. Don't miss the Top Billing Reunion Special, Thursday 27th November at 7 p.m. with repeat Saturday 29th at 3 and Sunday the 30th at 1 p.m. S3, open up.
Steadies understands that victory in their own backyard is highly important before the going gets tough on foreign soil. While the Congolese Giants want to kick off their group stage campaign on a high note. This is the CAF Confederation Cup encounter. Stellenbosch FC versus AS Otoho. This Sunday, 23 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. Usutu does not mind visitors, provided 3 points remain in KZN. However, Swelele refused to travel to Durban as tourists. They want nothing but victory. This is the Midweek Premiership. Forever. Amazulu FC versus Swelele FC on Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
SAfm 104 to 107 nationwide.